Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And seeing the crowd, I know that the topics have been very interesting, and very pleasantly all the delegates have been hearing the whole day. The last topic of the day is a panel discussion on standard and policies. Ultimately, our national policies and the standards that will accelerate the growth of surveying and mapping activities in the country. And today, we are privileged to have distinguished panelists. First, Mr. P.S. Acharya. He is a scientist G in the Department of Science and Technology, and he is head of the he is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Special Data Infrastructure, and a very passionate scientist in the field of geospatial technology. He has been involved in developing standards, and for last more than a decade or so, we have been working together. I know his interest, and everywhere he goes and very passionately he talks about that. He is also involved in the policy formulation in the Department of Science and Technology. I invite Mr. Acharya to join the panel. Mr. Rajesh Mathur. If you heard the name of ESRI and Mr. Rajesh Mathur, they are synonymous. And I don't think anybody in the crowd is not know Mr. Rajesh Mathur. He is an alumnus of IIT Delhi, and a very actively he has been promoting the GIS in the country. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. Then I invite Wing Commander Satyam Kuswa. Wing Commander Kuswa is an alumnus of National Defence Academy, Khadagbasla, and he was commissioned into the fighting squadron of the Indian Air Force, where he flown all kind of fighter aircrafts. Thereafter, he was involved as a user of geospatial technology, and very passionately he worked in that. Presently, he is posted with the National Security Council Secretariat, where he is also involved in the policy formulation of the National Geospatial Bill, and he is driving the security forces or guiding the security forces in using the geospatial technology. May I request Wing Commander Kuswa to join the panel, please. Shailendra Vikram Singh. Now, I request Major General Major Arindam Gupta from Survey of India. He is posted with the Directorate of Survey Air of Survey of India, which is responsible for security vetting of all our aerial photo data. His director, Mr. Chandrapal, was to join, but he had to go for some other meeting. So he has nominated Major Gupta, who is his assistant, to represent on his behalf. Major Arindam Gupta. And incidentally, I am very lucky that all the panelists were my old colleagues, and I worked with all of them, and hope that we will have a meaningful discussion. Just to initiate the discussion, I would like to inform the audience that last couple of months we have seen couple of bills coming up. National Geospatial Bill 2016 by Ministry of Home Affairs, National Geospatial Policy, the draft Geospatial Policy from the Department of Science and Technology. Then we had the DGCA initiated the DGCA guidelines for UAVs, and then we have got previous policies like National Remote Sensing Data Policies 2011, Department of Space, National Map Policy 2005 of Department of Science and Technology. Then we have got the National Data Sharing and Accessible Policy of the Department of Science and Technology. There are a couple of, then Ministry of Defence has got the Map Restriction Policy, Aerial Photography Policies. So there are a couple of policies. Now the policies also has got a dichotomy in the sense certain provisions in the policy are probably contradicting the policy of other policies. And also some policies are very good, very progressive, because I remember earlier whenever I used to go as a representative of Ministry of Defense in any such gathering, I used to be bombarded with a lot of questions that why you have got so many restrictions. But we are lucky that government has moved towards a de-restriction policy and a lot of good progressive policies have come up. However, there are certain gaps in the policy which is probably not meeting all the aspirations of all the stakeholders. Now, such discussions, it helps in and we can also intimate the government that this is what the people think, that this is the way we should formulate the policy, so that it helps the national security as well as helps the growth of the national economy, because both are complementary to each other. Without good economic condition, we cannot have a strong security. In fact, yesterday when I was there in one of the FICCI conference on smart border management, it was discussed that economically, unless we become strong, we cannot achieve a psychological warfare against our adversaries. So we all know who are our adversaries. So with a strong economy, we can always create a deterrent or advantage in psychological warfare over our adversaries. So with this, I make the floor open to all the panelists. I request, as time is short, so that each panelist can speak for 5 minutes and flag the key points which they want to highlight or whatever they want to say. Thank you. The floor is open.